What's up, everybody? Tuesday morning. Just wanted to do a quick video before I got the workday rolling here. And today I wanted to just touch base on mental endurance and how we can practice dealing with hardship and dealing with obstacles in life and actually use those obstacles and difficulties to our advantage, turning them into positive outcomes. Um, so I'm sure many of you, if not all of you, deal with many hardships on a daily basis. Life continues to throw difficulties at us at every step of the way. Um, and part of dealing with difficulty is, again, learning how to endure. So, using the example of a runner. So, you know, usually runners don't start running marathons overnight, right? They have to practice every day. They have to run shorter distances and they have to do it consistently. And they have to keep running and running and running and running until they build enough stamina and strength and endurance to run those long distances. So, just like runners, we have to do the same thing, but with our minds. We have to learn through constant practice how to endure difficult situations, how to stay calm, how to stay focused, and how to deal with them in a healthy manner. Um, calmly, peacefully, and with full awareness of the whole situation. Um, Keeping the negativity out and learning to, again, just kind of breathe, stay in the moment, and learn to push through the difficulty. And again, use that energy, transform it into something positive, learn from the event, take those emotions and get rid of them. Remember that a calm, positive mind is going to be what gets you to the finish line, right? So, how do we do these things? We have all these things being thrown at us every day, and we feel like there's no time to take care of our mental health and to look into our minds and figure out how we can live healthier, better. So, some things that I like to practice, again, to put my mind in a place where it's under control so that I can endure these things. Those practices include meditation. I think that's obvious, right? Meditation is a practice that helps your mind go to a place of calm and peace and silence. And when you constantly bring your mind to that place, you train yourself to come back more and more and more. And at first, it's very difficult. Most people that sit for meditation for the first time, for the first 100 times, realize that there's a lot of things that are grabbing your attention, right? It's really hard to sit quietly at first. My legs hurt. I'm thinking of the dog. Did I take them outside? My kid's coming home. My wife is asking me what's for dinner. My text messages are going off. What's on TV tonight? Did I forget to take the garbage out? Et cetera, et cetera. You sit there and your mind wanders. But after a while, again, you get better at it. It's just practice, 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 repetition, repetition, repetition. When you continue to quiet your mind, you come to that place over and over again, and it becomes habitual. And then during your day, it becomes to a point where you can capture that mindset whenever you want, right? So you could be in a difficult situation and put your mind right into that meditative state. And immediately you come back to calm, focus, peace, where you could deal with the situation at hand with full awareness and more than likely be more successful because you're not anxious, you're not freaking out, you're not angry or frustrated or, you know, whatever it may be. So calm your mind, meditate, keep going back to that place. And again, that is part of the endurance. If you can endure that practice, if you can endure the distractions, You'll continue learning how to quiet down, coming back to that place, and then having the tools to endure the hardships more. Some other practices: silence. Learn to be quiet. One thing that all of us tend to do is talk too much. We blab out things before we stop, take a moment, think about it. Now, how does that relate to endurance? Well, the endurance factor comes from the practice of learning to be silent. So, to explain that a little further, a lot of times we're very reactionary. So, the endurance comes in at stopping those reactions. So, catching yourself in the moment. And that's where you have to learn to endure because you need to constantly do that in every single thing you do, right? So, again, something negative happens, person at work sends you an email, pisses you off. Right away, you want to go respond, 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 respond. What happens? Usually, we're frustrated, we're upset, we're annoyed. We fire off an email back. And again, here comes the wave of negativity just continuing to flow through humanity, right? You're projecting all this bad energy, you're frustrated, you're upset. That person's going to read it, feel it, they're going to be frustrated and upset. If they don't have control of their mind, they're going to get frustrated at someone else, et cetera, et cetera. So, again, learning to stop and be silent is an extremely valuable tool. Why? Think of the same scenario. Get the email from the coworker, pisses you off. Okay, stop. Go to step one, try to grab that meditative mind. If you can't do that, step two, be silent. Take a second, try to just zip it in your mouth, in your mind. Don't say anything. What does that silence do? Pause. Everything goes on pause, right? Gives you a second to take a breath, to think, okay, time out. I feel frustration. I feel anger. What do I do? And in that very moment, just a split second, things can change, right? They may not, but they may. But you've given yourself an opportunity to not be so reactionary, to endure a negative event, to pause, take a breath, not react negatively, learn to calm down, and then project something positive out of the situation, right? So it gives you an opportunity to, again, not be so affected by a negative event, enduring it mentally, and learning how to take that event and turn it into something positive. And by doing that and constantly doing that, you're going to start cultivating a different way of living, right? You're going to learn that although there's a lot of negativity coming your way constantly, it doesn't have to be absorbed. It doesn't have to remain with you, and it doesn't have to affect you and everybody else around you, right? You have control over situations. Um, you know, Unfortunate and negative things are never going to go away. So the best we can do as humans is learn to endure them, right? That's the whole point of this talk right here. So jumping back into techniques, some other things I love doing, touch on them briefly. Of course, music. You guys know I absolutely, there it is, love music. It's a part of my life that I cannot live without. If anything, it is my life and I incorporate it into everything I do. Um, and, that's something that helps me learn to endure everything. As a musician, when you start out at the very beginning, that's the whole name of the game. It's endurance, right? It's constantly practicing scales and pressing the strings down and learning chords and figuring out song structures and, you know, how things go together, et cetera, right? So there's a constant endurance in being a musician. And what that teaches you is that, again, the more you put things into practice, the more you're going to learn to deal with negativity, to deal with hardship, to deal with um, that constant feeling of, oh, I have to do this over and over and over again. You learn that by doing those things, even though that they're difficult in the moment, again, you're turning that into positivity. All of that practice leads you to new places where, okay, now I went from just strumming some strings to playing chords. I'm now writing songs, and now I'm, in a band, right? So, again, all those events lead to bigger, better things. We just have to endure them. So, music is a great tool, not only for learning endurance, but also for clearing your mind. When you are playing music, you tend to focus on nothing else outside but the music. And that's the beauty of it right there. So even if you're not good or, you've never played an instrument, that's fine. Pick one up, try it. Just the act of doing it is going to put your mind in a place that you never thought because you're going to start learning that one pointed focus, that awareness, that, calm, focused, meditative type of mind is actually what's going on when you're playing music or when you're learning music. That's the goal there to really hone in, focus, concentrate, be calm, be aware, be right in the moment, not in the future, not in the past, right? There's so many other more, spiritual benefits to music that I can go into, but for this purpose, I'll stay away from that and talk about those another time. But again, even listening to music, great tool. If you really want to learn how to calm down and focus, pick a really nice piece of music that you really love, that's calming, that makes you feel happy, whatever it may be. And just sit there and really listen to it, focus on it, and absorb that music. And don't think of anything else except that song. Do it over and over again, just like a mantra. You'll see that by constantly practicing that listening and again, bringing yourself into that mind of calm, just by listening to that song, you're going to start cultivating a different mindset in general and a better well being in general. Other things that go without saying, being in nature. I mean, if you want to really calm down, I think being outside, being in nature, being in quiet places, um, just automatically brings your mind down, makes you focus more, just makes you feel more at peace, more connected, right? We're so attached to our devices these days and constantly in front of screens that we forget that, that kind of sucks the life out of you after a while, right? So you have to push those things aside a little bit and make sure you carve out some time for nature. Um, and last but not least, breathing. I think breathing is one of the most commonly referred to techniques as far as meditation's concerned in the West and in pop culture, I guess. And you see a lot of people practicing a lot of different things. Right now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what to practice in regards to that. Generally speaking, though, I think that breathing is an absolute practice that everyone should do. And I'm sorry that let's make a distinction. We all breathe, obviously. I'm talking about mindful breathing, focused breathing, concentrated breathing, whatever you want to call it. Essentially, it is learning to breathe in a focused and concentrated manner, calming the mind, and learning how to just control. I guess control is the best word, controlling your breath so that you can again put yourself into a calmer mindset, to a more focused mindset. A lot of people tend to forget, but breathing is very much connected to your mental state, right? If you think about it, right, when you're very calm, what happens to your breath? It's very slow. It's very controlled, right? Now, when you're angry, when you're pissed off, when you're raged, what happens? The breath starts going crazy, right? Rapid breathing. Your body is reacting. It's trying to get that oxygen in so that it can pump more blood to your muscles because why? Thinks it's getting ready for a fight, right? So think about when you're in just regular situations of life. We don't even think about our breathing when we're doing things. But if you start to focus on it, you're going to see when you start getting anxious or frustrated or angry, watch your breath. What's going to happen to you, right? You're going to start breathing heavy, fast. Your mind starts to race. This is not a healthy state. But when you're calm, out in nature, meditating, you're silent, or you're listening to music that's peaceful and soothing, what happens? Your whole state changes, right? You're really calm. You feel relaxed. Everything's loose, right? Nothing is tense. So think you have control over that if you learn to control your breath, right? If you learn to catch yourself in a moment and stop and say, okay, time out. I know how this works, right? If I continue to be all upset and raged and you're tense and you're ready to go, right? Your mind is going to stay in that frazzled state, right? Your breathing is just going to continue to do that. Your heart rate's going to start racing, right? So what do? You got to learn again, flip it, catch yourself in that moment. If you see yourself, oh, get pissed, stop, silence, bring yourself right back. All it takes is a breath, right? When you practice mindful, controlled breathing, you can again put yourself right into that state at the snap of a finger once you learn to do it over and over again, right? So, negative situation, angry, upset, breathe, keep breathing, and stay focused just on that breath. That's going to bring you down. Now, it might take a while, might depend on what level you're at. You know, if you're at level 10, a couple breaths might not do it for you, right? But for most day to day situations that are just frustrating and annoying and this and that, again, oh, breath, silent mind, silent mouth, be at peace, endure the hardship, right? Endure, endure, endure. So part of your daily practice just needs to be incorporating all these things into your life, being more aware of your mind, your breath, being more accepting of the things that come at you, whether they're good or bad. Um, understanding that being frustrated, angry, or upset, or anxious, or depressed doesn't help you get through life. And, just continuing to endure hardships is the only thing that you can learn to do in order to live a healthier, better, more successful life. So remember, life's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? Learn to endure, learn to be at peace, to bring your mind to a calm state. Most of all, learn that you create your reality. You're in control of how you see the world. You're not in control of all the causes and conditions of things, but you are in control of how You react to those things. You are in control of what you do with those things. And you're responsible for your own growth and for your own path, right? You don't just learn how to play an instrument by looking at it. You have to pick it up, you have to get on it, you have to understand it, and you have to practice, practice, practice. Same thing goes with the mind. You don't learn how to control it, you don't learn how to endure hardship until you face it head on. You have to be acutely aware of everything that happens to you during your day and take that extra time to focus on what's happening. Learn how to deal with it constructively and be at peace, be more calm, be more compassionate, and just be a better part of humanity and the universe and everything else. Love you guys. Hope you have a wonderful day. And